I said to the guy, that's just one too many Hulks. There we are. Hey, welcome. It is Monday night. Welcome to MCU Mondays right here on the Geek News Now channel. We're glad you joined us tonight. We're glad you're here. We hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I am your host, David. With me, as always, is my co-host, Debbie. Debbie, how are you this evening?
It's good.
It's good. It's good. I guess. I had to go to the doctor today. I just had my annual physical thing. So.
Always fun.
Whatever.
Especially at our age.
I know, right? How many cracks?
I don't even like going anymore.
how many cracks, creaks, and groans do you have this year?
I don't tell them anything.
How many times does your back crack when you stand up?
Yeah.
So, also with us tonight, as he always is, Andrew. Andrew, how are you this evening?
All good here.
Awesome.
No complaints.
And oh yeah, because you're young, you can't complain.
Whippersnapper.
Yeah, I know,
Not
right?
allowed.
And then also with us tonight is Mr. John Tolley from War of the Stars podcast. Special guest this evening, taking a break from Star Wars to come and talk some Marvel with us.
Yes. Now, is this the one with Batman or Spider-Man? I can't remember.
Actually, I think it's the one with where Captain Picard gets in the TARDIS and they go to Hogwarts to capture the lightsaber that's going to destroy Battlestar Galactica.
And Firefly shows up, and the Firefly shows up somewhere, right?
The Firefly is there. They have to throw the special Ocarina of Time into Mount Doom to.
Gandalf Calrissian says, "What do we have here?"
All the toys will be made by Kenner and Hasbro. Yes, we like to call that the war of everything.
Yes.
So tonight, we are talking about X-Men. We have rolling through the season. We are in the episode Bright Eyes, which, like I was talking to everybody else before we started, I was somewhat disappointed with last week, and I really liked this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this episode was amazing. But before we get into this episode, let me push let's run our opening credits, shall we? We'll get everything up here. Here we go. Yay! Always a delight. Thank you again, Chris. Chris, actually, we have found out Chris is going to be a very, very special guest with us in July after Deadpool and Wolverine comes out. We're going to have him on as a special guest. If you have seen any of our earlier episodes, you know that Chris is a massively huge Deadpool fan. And that's like his thing. So he is going to make a glorious comeback for at least one episode to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine with us. So we are all looking forward to that. We can put that on our shameless plugs later. Later on in the show. We'll just plug that now while I'm thinking about it. So let's talk about the X-Men 97. We get into this one. We're dealing with the aftermath of Genosha still. They're burying Gambit. I don't think Gambit's dead based on what happened at the end of this movie. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
You're dealing with clones. You've got Sinister involved. Who's the other guy? I'm going to jump right to the end. We're talking spoilers here. So yeah.
Bastion.
Bastion. Yeah, Bastion.
Bastion.
I am unfamiliar with the X-Men lore, so I'm going to say I don't even know who that is, and I'm sure we will find out the
That
next.
guy.
He's a guy,
Yeah.
and honestly, I thought it was Magneto that. Oh, okay, we're going to back up. They are looking for the two guys. All the X-Men are looking for the two guys that created. Basically, the ones that they thought responsible for the disaster on Genosha.
Yeah.
And they're looking for him. Rogue has gone
Rogue.
rogue.
Ooh.
That was a tough one. But she's gone nuts. We actually had two cool cameos in this one, which was awesome. We had Thunderbolt Ross was in this one, and Captain America was in this one, which we knew that one was coming. I've got to say it was a little bit of a surprise to see Ross, but we knew Captain was coming because we saw it in one of the. I think it was what the mid-season trailer was. We saw the shield.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this was the episode that he was in. Again, if they could have gotten Chris Evans to voice him, I mean, he wasn't there, but for a couple of minutes, he only had a few lines.
Yeah.
But if they could have got him to voice, I think that would have just kind of tied everything. That what is it that Cam says on the Star Wars poetry harmony?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, do you guys think, because he mentioned the team, do you think he's talking Avengers, and we're going to get that maybe Avengers versus X-Men? Because he's like, my crew, my team has to do that. Do you think he's talking the Avengers?
it's possible. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what other team at this point? What other team could he be talking about? That would be, I mean, his team.
But two, if that is Avengers, what? I mean, are we talking Hank Pym? Are we talking Professor Hulk? Are we talking? You know, what part of the Avengers are we talking about here?
Yeah.
And who's involved in it? I mean, is it Ant-Man and Wasp that, you know, you're talking founding members, Ant-Man and Wasp and Thor and
yeah. Well, in this one, it's because the timeline it's set in, it's not set in like your normal MCU universe.
right.
You know, it's mid-90s, so yeah, I don't know.
No idea. But you know, too, we watched Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't know, 2 weekends ago, and one of the lines in it was, "I didn't want to tell you guys, but I'm part of the Avengers." Ooh, what's that? You guys don't have the Avengers, so I mean, it could just mean his team and what was it, that the Howling Commandos? It could just mean the Howling Commandos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, his military, stuff,
or even so
Maybe.
far as his team being the Shield team, or a team on Shield that he's a part of. So maybe it was a hint at the Avengers. It's all over the place. But he basically tells Rogue, we can't do anything. Got to follow protocol. Got to do this the right way. She acts like a 2-year-old, gets pissed, and throws the shield away. Here, go get it. But honestly, I like the way that she went after this. I really liked when she went after Ross first.
Yeah.
And this bunker was designed to
hold the Hulk.
She's not getting in here, and she comes smashing through. And it's a lot easier to break into prison than it is to break out, which was good.
Yeah.
And I saw somewhere that Rogue actually, so in the comic books, Rogue has Miss Marvel's powers. Yes. And I believe that was mentioned in the original X-Men series, was that that's where she got her powers, was from the original Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And I guess according to comic book lore, Miss Marvel could take the Hulk and Thor.
Oh yeah.
She was like more powerful than both of those. So really, Rogue could take the Hulk if she wanted to.
Yeah.
And all Rogue have to do is just go touch him.
Mhm.
Why is Rogue not an Omega level? I mean,
don't-
she's dangerous.
Yeah. Good question.
It's a thought because I mean, she can absorb not only the powers of whoever, but like the thoughts and knowledge. Because we saw that in the first or second episode. You know, here absorb his mind so that you know how to deliver a baby.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Rogue's going nuts. Not Cap. God. Cyclops. Thank you. And the rest of the team, they're helping in Genosha. They're with the rescue effort. They rescued Emma.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was excited about one rescued. Would have been better if there was a whole bunch of them down there, but sure, whatever. Beast kind of went into jerk mode. It's interesting to see how all of these characters are reacting to what happened in Genosha.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I find it. I don't know. It's just it's interesting how each one has a take on it. Still no sign of Magneto at this point yet, though, either.
No.
Which we'll find out what happens to him at the end of this. So, but let's see what else. Scott argues with the president a little bit. Go figure. What was the first guy? Who was the first guy that they were looking for? It wasn't Trask. I mean, it was
It starts with a G, Geiker or Greiker.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Rogue was going to kill him.
Oh yeah.
I honestly thought it was I've got all the information like she did with Trask, because basically she had Trask Trask contacted the team that was together there on Genosha and said, "Hey, something bigger is happening here. Come find me, and I'll tell you what's happening." Then he's trying to commit suicide. They're like, "No, don't let him go." And then Rogue pulls one of those, "Oh my God, what are you thinking?" moments. He decides to jump. Rogue catches him, and she says, "No, we're not done with you yet." And he says, "Well, I got nothing more to tell you." And she's like, "Okay." And she let him go.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't a bad. I mean, it was a bad thing that she did that, but it was horrible that she did it. It's not that it didn't end well for Trask. I mean, in the long run, it did, but because Trask hits the ground, he is now what do they call it? A cyber. He's basically a
Sentinel.
He's a Sentinel.
Yeah.
He's turned himself into a Sentinel, basically, and it's an upgraded type of Sentinel, and that's what they were working on. That's what they were trying to achieve. And it's not just Sinister running things. I've got a feeling it's not just this Bastion guy running things either. I think still think the only reason I think he's not top of the ladder is that we have seen in one of the previews, we've seen Apocalypse. There was a scene with Cable and it may not have even been in one of the trailers. It may have been in like the opening credits.
Well, I know they've been teasing a character called Nimrod, who's basically like a mega Sentinel from the future. So that could be the main bad guy is Nimrod. Because I know he's from what I've understood and some of the things I've seen, he's affiliated with in Cable's timeline.
Oh, yep, Devin and Shaggy. I'm sorry, Devin and Shaggy, if you said this a long time ago. I was on the video thing. I haven't been watching.
Do you think the villain will be revealed in this next 3-part arc, or do you think we'll go into the next season with the same villain? Like, do you think the villain will get defeated or continue throughout?
You know what?
2?
I honestly like the idea of bringing the villain back. That was one of the big problems I had with like the Batman movies and with Superman movies and things like that. It's like one of their biggest issues is you guys in the comic books, they never killed the bad guys. They always took them to jail or took them to Arkham or imprisoned them somewhere. But in the movies, they always killed them. And it's like, well, if you kill it, you can't come back and fight it in another movie, in a sequel movie. You can't see it again, you know? You can't have him come up with even the 1960s Batman had that one figured out to where it's like, who's the villain of the week? You know, who escaped from prison this time? So it's like, you can't kill them. You got to keep them alive so you can bring them back and bring them back and bring them back and bring them back. You don't have to reboot all the time. Yeah. But hi, Kitty. and Marvel kind of sort of figured that out. I mean, you had Zemo in Civil War. Yeah. And he almost killed himself. And of course, Black Panther stopped him. And it's like, nope, people aren't done with you yet. And what happens? Oh, guess what? He comes back in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And would they use him again? It's like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to bring them back so that you can use them again. Yeah. It's not just a one and done kind of thing. So anyway, that's my thoughts on all of this. I think it would be better if it was we did like a we don't kill the villain, we banish them to another dimension, or they get away at the end, something like that, so you can keep making the TV shows. Hi, Kitty. Chewie.
What do you think, Chewie? Were we going to get the same villain?
She don't care.
Meow.
Okay. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try your name here. Is Alcide Gagnon. Alcide. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize. But if I'm getting it right, yay for me. I thought it would be better, but I like the old one better. You know, I've got to say, the old one had some really good story arcs to it. The original X-Men had some really good story arcs, and I really did like it. I think I like the animation just a touch better on this one, just because it's cleaner. It's more neat and concise. So, and like I said, the story that they're the first half of the season was just like, okay, I get it, but now we're kind of getting into the meat and potatoes of the season, and I'm getting into it. I'm not going to make any kind of fair judgment on it until we're done with it and see where it goes. But like the whole Nintendo, Luke had to catch up, so I had to watch that stupid Nintendo episode again, Motendo or whatever. I was like, oh God, why? Good Lord, no. But
well, then I do. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, then I do have an animated question for you. Not necessarily which show is better, but what animation do you prefer between X-Men 97 and What If?
I think I like honestly, and you're to me you're asking apples and oranges on that one because What If is its own show, and being that it's based on the MCU and the characters from the MCU, you have a different animation style. You want it to look like the characters from the MCU, whereas X-Men 97, you need it to look like the old X-Men 90s show, but in the same token, it needs to look like, and they did this with the old X-Men show. It looks like a comic book. It looks like if you would have gone out to the comic book store in the 90s and picked up an X-Men comic, that's the way the shading was on everything, the way that the characters reacted to things. It was a comic book, and it was like a live comic book, and that was what was so glorious about it. And I think they're trying to capture that same nostalgia, just with a lot cleaner lines and sharper images and stuff they can get away with now. So
this is kind of in the same vein of what Andrew was just talking about. And sorry if we're getting kind of off topic here, but
we always do. No problem.
I know. So would you like to see something like what they've done with Star Wars Visions with MCU? I don't know if you're familiar with the Star Wars Visions.
Oh,
basically they took like, especially the first season, they took a lot of the top Japanese animators and just told them, do whatever you want. I think that would be so cool to do that with Marvel, some of the Marvel cartoons.
Oh, with Marvel, do the same thing. I don't know. Yeah. Honestly, I liked the second season to where you had different animation style. Yeah. It wasn't strictly Japanese animation.
Yeah,
it was it was all over the place. So I think if you were to go that route with it, and just do like little one-offs.
Yeah. Well, the same thing. I'd love to see.
It also would be cool to get. I was about to say, it'd be cool to get that.
The one thing I would say though, I wish What If were more like that, to be honest with you. I mean, What If kind of turned into we've got all these little what if stories, but they all kind of at the very end come into this one
story.
And it's like,
especially in season 2.
That's not really the point of the What If.
Yeah.
There was a 3-episode Captain Carter arc.
She had like 3 episode. It was like
arc. Yeah.
Season 2 should have just been called Marvel's Captain Carter.
Yeah, Captain Carter.
So I get it. She's cool and everything, but I want to see other stuff, It's What If. It's one shots. So it's just like a what if this happened? Not
Captain Carter. Yeah.
It's not what if Captain Carter saved the multiverse kind of thing. So anyway, Debbie, you're being awful quiet. What you got?
Nothing.
Theories.
Did you like the episode?
It was all right. I'm not a big fan of the show, so.
Oh. No, it's okay, Andrew. There he goes. You offended him.
I did. It's all right. I mean, I watch it, and sometimes it makes me laugh, and then other times I fall asleep, and
have to go back and watch it again.
It's just not
so many minutes.
Just not my cup of tea. Kind of like Visions. And that's just not my cup of tea. I have to force myself to watch those. I don't care for them.
Oh.
There might be 1 or 2 episodes from each season that I like, and that's it.
Oh, from Visions?
Yeah,
yeah, maybe. I think
if I didn't have my hat on, I'd be pulling my hair out.
I've enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I've enjoyed the animation. Now that the story is getting good, now that we've got the good build up and we've got all the what is it? The what do they call it? Like you're introducing all the characters and you're kind of getting the pieces into play, and now it's time to.
You're really ramping up for the final act. Yeah, the final act.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it more now. Like I said, I think this episode was really a nice kick in the shorts. Storm still has not rejoined with everybody, so she's still out there. Charles is obviously coming back, just based on last week's episode. So I'm anxious to see where they take us on this one. We find out that Sinister is working for this Bastion character. He has Magneto. He has Magneto alive. Bastion's kind of got. Bastion is just his voice. He's almost on par with Hemlock. I mean, voice wise.
Actually,
yeah, let me guess. It's voiced by the same guy.
no.
Oh, okay. Darn.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
The guy who voiced Gambit is the guy who's voicing Bastion.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's cool.
Now, I don't know where that leads to because I guess from
Let me
what
get
I
out my whiteboard.
from what I
screen.
understand, Bastion is the only one that would be able to bring back Gambit. If I understood what I was reading.
Well, and again, you kind of got to think about what's been happening in the background. So, Sinister made the clone of Jean Grey, who eventually had the son with Scott, who had Nathan with Cable with Scott. Now, you don't know when those clones were switched out. That's been one of the big things is we don't know when he made the switch kind of thing. You know, who was actually the Phoenix, who supposedly died in the, or got left in the space shuttle, whatever. So you've got to think too now, he has Magneto. Gambit is dead. Is it possible that he switched out? I mean, all of these characters are dead. We talked about this a little bit in the show last week, to where it's like you never really die in comic books.
Yeah.
You can always be recloned, or you faked your death, or you just needed the sun to recharge you, or you didn't really die, you just broke your back and you'd kind of given up on things, and now we're gonna come back and fight Azrael and
my back.
It's like
Spider-Man 2.
It's like watching wrestling. That's what it's like. It's like watching the WWF or WWE or whatever it is. It's honestly like wrestling. And the thing I can think, if there is a movie out there called Ready to Rumble, and it's got David Arquette and Oliver Platt, and and then it's about these two ding dongs that think wrestling is real, and wrestling. And they'll tell people wrestling's fake. Wrestling's not fake, and they'll fight these people. And then one day, their hero, which was Oliver Platt, the King, they go see him at WrestleMania, and they decide to knock him out, and he's lost everything. He's lost his crown, so they help him come back and do this whole thing. And I mean, one of the lines in it was, "Don't you remember when Sting came out the other in that one match, and he broke your back with a steel chair, and you came back the next week and owned him? You got out of that chair and beat him up with the wheelchair you were in." And I was like, that's kind of what comic books are. It's like, yeah, Superman died, but then he came back like 2 months later in this big thing. So I'm telling you, comic books are wrestling for geeks and nerds. That's what it is. Andrew's commenting. Don't listen to anything he says. Get him off the show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. Exactly. So now, is this Bastion character? Is this going to turn out to be Gambit, and he has done this to Magneto to get Magneto out of the way so he can get with Rogue? In that case, it's more like a soap opera.
Because Bastion is an actual character from Marvel. So, yeah, it's mystical fusion with a mystical fusion of Master Mold and Nimrod. He's immune to telepathic abilities, and he has the ability to turn people into Sentinels.
Wow. And honestly, they're sticking really close to the comic books in this one too. I mean, to the storylines that are in the comic books. One of our guys said, we mentioned it last week, was that they could do a lot more because there's a lot more to the story, and it's like, yeah, but what they're doing here is they're hitting the highlights so they can make a 30-minute kids show.
Mhm.
They're giving you a Reader's Digest version of what the story is. So they're telling you essentially the story, but they're just giving you the high points versus the entire thing. So
yeah, and for on a personal level, I missed last week's show here, but I'm hoping that they're done with the whole side thing of Rogue getting her powers back, because that to me that just felt like filler.
Storm, you mean?
Yeah, the Storm is like, let's get Storm back in the X-Men. All right. Like all that stuff going on, that just felt like it was like, okay, that's just filler.
I didn't think it was filler. I liked the idea, and I mentioned this.
I did, but I thought it went on like, I think you could have
A little too long.
a little too long, and I think you could have done some of the episodes side by side. So you go back and forth between what's going on with Storm to what's going on with the rest of the X-Men. You know, maybe you have one episode just with Storm, but the other one to be kind of back and forth, because it's like, okay, let's go.
I don't
we
know.
don't need 3 episodes.
I thought that owl thing was terrifying.
That was terrifying.
I really that was like that would have given me nightmares.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that Rogue got her normal hair back. That gravity defying mohawk thing was driving me nuts.
It was still comic accurate.
I don't care if it was comic accurate. When she's got
you mean Storm?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Storm. So if she's got what's his name dying because he got bit by a demon owl, and we're gonna go right off to a cave all the way across the desert. But hold on a minute, I've got to do my hair so that it sticks up.
Yeah,
if it was more realistic like that, if it was more realistic like that, or to where she just said, "Screw it, I don't have to worry," and it was just down, I'd be fine with it. But the fact that it's constantly, it's like she's burning holes in the ozone layer with all the Aquanet she's shoving in her hair. And Andrew, if you don't know, Aquanet
we will all have a mohawk next week.
Aquanet is hairspray that we used back in the 80s and 90s to make our hair bigger. Debbie, how much Aquanet did you use back in the 80s?
Well, I didn't have the big hair that was popular back then, but I did have a perm, and I had it styled a certain way. So in order to get it to stay that way, I'd have to spray it and then roll my hot iron, which, is kind of a no-no, but I did it anyways. And then sprayed it again to keep everything in place for the next 24 hours.
She slept sitting up so that she wouldn't
catch my hair on fire.
Never did that, but the hair always looked halfway decent. Now I'm just at an age where I really don't give a shit.
Don't care. Wake up in the morning like, whatever.
Whatever. Run a brush through it. I don't care.
Yeah. Like
the kids don't care what it looks like, so I don't care.
Okay.
I would just put a hat on.
Yeah. Me too. All right. Did we miss anything in this episode? It was kind of a quick episode, and there was a lot. I mean, there was a lot happening, but there was a lot to where it was like it happened really fast.
Yeah, I did like it. This is the one part that made me giggle, only because I hate Cyclops. But when Cable came back and he instantly knew that Jean was not his mother.
Yeah.
And then he made some kind of backhanded comment to Scott,
like we could talk about this later, Dad, or
let's
skip the family reunion, Dad.
Yeah,
we'll talk later, Dad. I was like, get him.
Again, if they would have had Josh Brolin voicing Cable, I think it would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're going to go that far, you're going to have Harrison Ford voicing Thunderbolt Ross. So, and I think that if they would have done that, it would have been like a huge surprise. That would have been like internet exploding.
Oh yeah.
That would have destroyed.
I know
internet.
for a lot of them, they got the same people who voiced them in the What Ifs, like the same guy who voiced Thunderbolt Ross in this one also voiced him in the What Ifs. I think it's the same thing with Cap. The same person who voiced Cap and the also voiced him here.
Wow. Well, I guess so I guess you can tie it to the MCU that way then.
Kinda.
Makes sense.
Multiverse.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
We're still calling What If part of the MCU, so yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, because we've already seen The Watcher.
Yeah. He's been in 1 or 2 episodes now.
Yeah. I do like, and you were talking about why Rogue isn't considered an Omega. Why isn't what's his name? My mind just Morph. Because Morph, when he morphs into other people, he takes their powers because he saw it with Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Like, so
I was wondering about that too. I was like, oh, where did Quicksilver come from? And then he hit him and it turned back into more. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that is true, if he like morphs into like Professor X. Does he get Professor X's power?
If he morphs into Magneto or Storm for that matter.
Yeah, does he get their powers too, at least temporarily, while he's in that form?
He probably wouldn't. He might not know how to control it as well, which actually could be more dangerous than if he knew how to control it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Rogue, when she gets a power, it's very temporary. It's like she can't recall it. And
the only difference has been Miss Marvel.
Yeah, she was
because and that's also one of the few deaths that had remained like when she died, she was dead.
She died.
She did not come back.
Yeah.
And Rogue has her powers permanently.
Yeah. And I really like the idea too. Debbie, you said it's not a permanent thing. It's like just if you watch the X-Men movie, they actually touched on that a little bit with
I
Rogue.
watched it this weekend.
I watched X-Men 2 this weekend myself. So
I watched X-Men.
That movie's great.
I watched Wolverine Origin.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the next one on my list.
I like it, except for what they did to Deadpool. That's the only thing
I will say that still has one of my favorite lines is when they're in the elevator and they're going up and the general looks and says, Wade, do you ever shut up? Not while I'm awake. Because I have a daughter that's the same way.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't exactly the merc with the mouth at that time, but
no.
I mean, he had a mouth, but yeah, I like the scene where they come off the elevator and he's just smashing them bullets.
I thought that was good too. And then he did it again. He did it in was it Deadpool 2 where he did the same thing and he's like, ow, that didn't work at all.
Yeah.
But honestly, I like you're going to talk about Origins. The one line I like, and it's just a dumb line, and it has nothing to do with anything, but I just like the way it was said. I like the way it was delivered, where he says, where he's boxing with Fred, and he says, "Come on, bub, do something." And he was like, "Did you just call me Blob?" I was like, "Oh, so good!" I was like, "Yes," because that's who that is.
Oh, yeah.
Did you just call me Blob? No, I said Bub.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
I introduced my daughter to since we have Disney Plus, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Okay.
That cartoon. We watched, I started out with the episode with Deadpool. And then she's like, I want to watch the rest of it. I'm like, okay. So we started.
Is that the one where he says he doesn't say we got to kill these guys? We've got to
we have to unalive them. He's like, I get a tingly feeling every time I say the K word. and his 300 every 300 different origin stories that make no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go back and watch that episode. That was
That was funny. Yes. It was Deadpool is not the good guy, but the bad guy. Or I'll just work for whoever pays me the most money guy.
And that's the way a mercenary should be.
Yeah.
Somebody just turned my printer on.
Uh-oh.
I know. Well, it's right here, so I'm like jumping. So if you hear funny noises, for some reason somebody's decided they needed to print something.
It's a mercenary for sale ad for David. Mercenary for hire.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, this is for me. I didn't print it. My wife's downstairs printing something. Don't know why she couldn't have waited till we were done, but what are you gonna do? Jeez, how long is this thing? Okay. All right.
That's what he said.
Deadpool, X-Men 2. What else? Oh, I was talking about the X-Men movie. The X-Men movie. See, we chased all kinds of rabbits on that one.
We have.
So they touched on the Rogue not holding her powers for a while. When she woke up Wolverine in the first X-Men movie, and he jumped up and he stabbed her, and then she touched him and took his power so she could heal herself.
Yeah.
And of course, him being able to heal himself, it wasn't like it didn't kill him because he could heal himself. So
yeah.
Very cool. Like I said, they brought that over. That was one of the things.
Origins is the next on my list.
I gotta think.
That's
I just
my,
turned on. I just turned on
rewatch
2 because it was
list.
on Hulu, but I was watching Hulu and I was like, "Oh, hey, there's X-Men 2. Let's watch that. Let's see if Samuel likes that one." But Samuel
I also watched the Wolverine, which is the one where he goes to Tokyo. Not really my favorite one.
My dad liked
but
that
I
one. That
do-
was like his favorite.
Yeah.
I do love, and I can never think of his name, but he was one of the main characters in Shogun. And this, that was his first time in the Marvel Universe, and the second time was in Endgame when Hawkeye kills him because he's a drug lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean not Hawkeye? You mean
Ronan.
Yes.
Get
I
it
want
right,
to see a movie with that. I want to see a movie with Ronan.
You know what? I don't know about a movie. I
A
could
TV show.
I could take an animated series on that
Miniseries.
Yeah, a miniseries. Yeah,
or a 6-part.
Yeah.
We don't know if is Jeremy Renner back up to 100% yet. Oh, he is.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, because his show, The Mayor of Kingstown,
Mayor.
it debuts here in a couple weeks, which I'm very excited for because I love that show. It's good.
Where is that at?
Prime.
Okay.
Oh, I watch it on Paramount.
Yeah,
Paramount Plus.
Paramount. That's why I meant Paramount.
Can't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second season.
I think you can link that with Prime. So yeah.
Apple TV and Paramount Plus are ones I don't own subscriptions to.
We don't have Apple. We do have Paramount because we watch.
I have Apple.
I've got Netflix and Max and Hulu and Disney Plus, and then of course all the free ones like Tubi and Pluto and Peacock and.
Peacock is not free.
It is. If you want some of the premium stuff, it's not.
It's got some stuff that is.
It's got some premium.
I mean, I was able to watch the first episode of the new Quantum Leap, and then I couldn't watch anymore.
Oh.
Like, screw you.
Yeah.
And then they went and canceled it after this season.
I want to watch the original ones. Where are those at?
You might look on Hulu. Sometimes you can find them on Hulu. I've watched it there before.
Yeah, she's trying to print more, but the printer's out of paper.
Because I'll watch that every couple years. I'll go through and watch Quantum Leap, the original.
I want to watch it. again. It has some good episodes. I like the one where he was Lee Oswald when he shot Kennedy. So I enjoyed that episode. I like the one where he was I thought it was really good. The one where he was the black guy, but he didn't know he was black, and so he goes into the diner and he sits down and he like helps kick off the civil rights movement. Had some good episodes. There was some good stuff there.
My favorite is the 2-part The Leap Home, where he goes back as his younger self.
Yeah.
And tries to save his brother from going to Vietnam. I always cry during that one. Hell, I watched Endgame this weekend and I cried.
I still get goosebumps.
Oh yeah,
that whole Avengers Assemble scene.
Oh yes.
Every time, I can just sit and think about it, and I'm like, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Yeah. Just the fact that
I've got an Avengers Endgame Captain America Funko Pop. When he's got Mjolnir.
Nice.
Yes.
Very cool. All right, Debbie, did we miss anything? We've chased a lot of rabbits tonight.
I don't think so.
That's typical.
We've had our own multiverse show. Different.
That's right. We've been talking X-Men and the multiverse. So, okay, that poses. Are they going to use this? I've seen a lot of theories on this. Are they going to use this show to help kickstart? We know one of the movies coming up is Secret War. Are they going to use this show to help kickstart Secret War?
I've seen that theory.
Yeah.
I've seen that theory.
I don't know.
I think it's definitely possible. I mean,
yeah.
They've still got to. Do you think that's when we would first see the X-Men in the MCU, or do you think they'll get something before Secret Wars that's in the MCU?
We've already had stuff in the MCU. I mean, besides Multiverse of Madness, I mean, you had the Marvels. Yeah, the end credit scene at the Marvels.
Beast shows up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Beast,
Yeah,
and there was two of them. It was Monica's mom, but she is a character of note within the X-Men. I can't quite remember her, but
Binary.
Binary.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they've teased other things like with the Miss Marvel TV show. At the end of it, he says, what you have is you have a mutation, some sort of mutation."
Yeah.
So they've teased the X-Men. Oh, well, even in Multiverse of Madness, like you said, the Professor X.
Professor X, yeah. I wouldn't. A lot of people too have been saying that. Let's see. What was it? It was the first Deadpool trailer where you see Deadpool laying on the ground and you see the Wolverine shadow, and apparently there is a comic book lying off to the side, and it's a Secret Wars issue with Doctor Doom on the cover. And basically Deadpool is going to kick off the Secret Wars. That I wouldn't mind seeing. You're dealing with Cable here. Could we see Deadpool in the X-Men 97 show? I wouldn't be averse to it. It's just a thought. I mean, how many episodes do we have left?
3.
You got three left? Oh, yeah, because it's a 3-parter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tolerance's extinction.
Andrew, what did you say the episodes we need to watch are from the original one?
One Man, it was what? One Man's Worth, I think is what the arc was called. And from 4 of the original series, it was episodes 2, 3 of season 4.
Okay. So
but the former showrunner said, yeah, that's like homework.
All right. So Debbie, if you really want to all right, well, never mind. I'll watch it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Not unless I'm extremely bored. I mean,
you will do it.
It's a long weekend for
It's
me,
40
but
minutes.
I
Must be
don't know
nice.
if I want to watch it or not. We'll see.
Oh, it's Star Wars weekend this weekend.
Oh, it is. Yes.
And it's
Mhm.
and okay, Star Wars Day
And
is on
Saturday.
This is going to be part of my shameless plug right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and kick off the shameless plugs. So Saturday is May the 4th, which to anybody that knows Star Wars, that's Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. But also, in case you didn't know, the first Saturday in May is Free Comic Book Day, which is where comic book stores around the world give out free comic books. And it's not like you can just go in and pick one up off the shelf kind of thing. They've got a selection that you can choose from. Usually, it's like stuff that's coming out, and it's like here's a preview copy kind of thing, or it may even be like a trade magazine, something like that. But I know my comic book store usually it's like you can take 3 or 4 of them. They don't care because they got tons of them. So, Free Comic Book Day is coming up this Saturday. I will be out at my comic book store. I'm probably going to do a live feed from there just because I want to, and I can. And Dave Gramillion can't stop me. So I'm just going to go for it, and we'll do a live feed that we can. There's people dress up for it. It's a big to do down here. I don't know how big it is up there. Debbie, I know you probably don't go, but oh. It's not
Oh, you don't
Comic-Con
camp
big.
out the night before?
No. I don't even camp out the night before. Come on. Come on now.
I mean, we do have. Well, now that I think of it, I don't know if they have comic books or not. I know we have for our town, because I live in a small town. We do have a pretty. I think it's a big video game store, but I think they have comics too. But I'm not sure. I thought last year I seen them advertise on Facebook about Comic Book Day. So
Hmm.
I don't know.
So anyway, go get you some free comics. Go to the Lego store, buy you some Star Wars Legos. Star Wars will be on the theaters for the weekend. Go watch Star Wars on the theater. Pick your episode, whatever is your favorite. And then two, I saw this today at Barnes and Noble. They, in honor of Star Wars Day, this coming Saturday, at least at my Barnes and Noble. So check your local listings. They are having a free Y-wing Lego mini build at Barnes and Noble. At my Barnes and Noble, the one here in Denton, Texas. Now check with your Barnes and Noble to see if they're doing the same thing. But they had a big sign out in the front, and I was all kinds of excited. And I was like, "Ooh, I might go get me some free Legos." Just because.
Yeah, I think I talked Andy, my youngest one. I think I talked him into going to see, and I haven't looked yet, but going to see the Phantom Menace Saturday because we really want the cups. We have to drive a half hour.
I don't know. See,
No.
I wouldn't mind going to see the Phantom Menace. Sam would probably get a kick out of it. I mean, he knows who Darth Maul is and everything, but he's really, really big into General Grievous right now. So, but we watched Revenge of the Sith like on Sunday afternoon. So I don't know if it's going to be do we want to go watch that again in the theaters, or maybe I'll just say screw it, we'll go watch Return of the Jedi.
I haven't seen anything here with that.
Yeah,
I know a few months ago, because I took my daughter, we have an old style like art theater that played Return of the Jedi, and I took her to that, and that was really cool. Her first time seeing it in theaters, and she was very, very impressed. And the 501st was there, and
of course,
it was really cool. But as far as I'm sure, like we got a couple of comic book stores in the area. I live near a college town, so you know, I'm
Oh, there's got to be at least 2 then. There's always 2.
Yeah. As for my shameless plug, if we're doing a shameless plug,
Yes, go for it.
We just had 2 days ago our official 7-year anniversary of War of the Stars. It was the 27th. We're having our anniversary show. We'll come out on Wednesday. We got a lot of special guests, including a host from here on GNN. One of the Jonathan, the host of let me see if I got the Captain's Log and Lightsabers is going to be on.
Yep.
Also have
Nice.
some other former hosts from War of the Stars going to be on, 2 co-hosts, and going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be reviewing the latest episode of Bad Batch.
Now y'all are an episode behind us, right?
Yes,
because we've got the finale coming up on Thursday.
Yeah,
since Wednesday's the show.
Yeah, we're like an episode behind, but once we get that done, we got some more stuff we're going to be doing. We're going to be going more into the lore.
Well, you've got Tales of the Empire coming up too. Don't forget
that. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do that or not. We might kind of stay away from a lot of the breakdowns and stuff like that, just because everyone else seems to do it. So we're going to kind of focus more on the lore. We got one we're going to do on. We're planning on doing on the idea of Gray Jedi, which should not be controversial at all.
No, it's not. It's a horrible idea.
Well, we'll see what we think.
Gray Jedi is an oxymoron. So that's just my thoughts. If you've watched any of Cantina, you would know that we don't like the term Gray Jedi. So
that is incorrect.
That is incorrect. The term is, or the term.
I'm all for Gray Jedi because I think Qui-Gon was the Gray Jedi.
Oh, please.
Bite me.
Not right now.
Oh, gosh. That's for our OnlyFans.
Oh. The GNN
After Dark.
That's right. All right. Debbie, what else do we got shameless plug-wise? What's going on?
I don't know. Tomorrow night is Sith Dominion. They are talking about, I believe, the era around Darth Bane and the Rule of Two and all that good stuff. And then Thursday, we're back with the season finale of the Bad Batch
series.
Please, Disney, make it more than 25 minutes. Please, for the love of God.
Unfortunately.
Then Saturday is Geek Gauntlet. And John's already told you about Wednesdays. So there you go.
That's everything that's happening. I was actually looking up to see if they've announced the time for Star Wars, but for the Bad Batch, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, I looked today and I looked yesterday because I'm like, 25 minutes is going to kill me.
It's not long.
Got to be longer. Too many loose ends. Too many.
So also don't forget, like I said earlier in the show, we will have a special guest when Deadpool comes out up in July. This will be Chris from It's a Vase Productions, gracing us once again with his.
Yay! I miss Chris.
We miss him so much. I miss
the banter. And I told him that the other night. I was like, I miss Harbinter.
So he will be back for Deadpool. We are all kinds of excited about that. In June 7th through the 9th, I will be at Dallas Fan Expo here in the Dallas area. If you get the chance and you want to come see me and say hi, you are more than welcome. They've added some new guests since I talked to you last. And we announced on Thursday they added Tim Curry, which I'm excited about. It's going to be awesome. But now I was looking at the site today, and they have announced that they have McKenna Grace is going to be there from the new Ghostbusters movies, and Danny Elfman will be there as well, the composer. So it's going to be a blast. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff there. It always is. They do a good show. Last year, we weren't able to talk to the actors and whatnot because of that's when the strike was happening. So they weren't allowed to talk to anybody. But I'm going to guess now that it's no holds barred and we'll be able to do everything. So I'm hoping. I have my fingers crossed. But that, I think, is going to be it for us tonight. We will see all of you next week when we start the first of the 3-part series for X-Men 97. Y'all all have a great week. We'll see you next Monday night. Have fun and enjoy.
Shit! Language. No one else is going to deal with the fact that Cap just said language. I know. For gosh sake, watch your language. That's not going away anytime soon. You bet your ass.
Steve, you said a bad language word.
Did you tell everyone?
Outwit the platinum bastard.
Steve doesn't like that kind of talk.
You know what, Romanoff? Fury, you son of a bitch.
Ooh, you kiss your mother?